From the Marquee Media Studio inside Mark Tank, it's the Mark Haney Show.
Yes, this is the Mark Haney Show, and we are on a mission to ignite the entrepreneurial revolution right here in the hometown we love. We're entrepreneurs helping entrepreneurs. Why? Because entrepreneurs take risk. Entrepreneurs make sacrifices. Entrepreneurs create opportunity, and they figure out a way to change the world. And they do it by solving problems in a way that other people haven't tried yet or are not doing. And on today's show, we have an entrepreneur that is doing just that. He is an entrepreneur that learned the business, the jewelry business. We have Adrian Blanco. He is the founder of Adrian Blanco Jewelry, and he built the company in a way that I appreciate. He learned the business as an employee from a very young age, and then ultimately went out on his own. And he started in his garage, and you're going to hear the story in a minute of a guy that starts in his garage, and then because of a very unique way of going to market, he's expanded the business, and he's figuring out a way to attack in a different way, attack from a different direction by really going hands-on in his community. And I think it's that difference, right? If you think about your business, the things that you're trying to do in your life, what are you doing different? And I think as you listen to Adrian's story, you're going to hear things that he's doing that are different. And I think at the end of the show, I'll share a story about how I have done that in my life, about doing a business different and doing it in a way where you might not expect. So stick around, hear the story of Adrian Blanco, and then if you have time, stick around and listen to a story I have about local entrepreneurship and attacking from a different direction. And now it's my pleasure to bring on Adrian Blanco. He is the founder and owner of Adrian Blanco Jewelers. Hope I am pronouncing the name of your company right. Adrian, how you doing?
I'm wonderful, thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Today there's so many things to talk about. You got so much going on. I don't think I've ever had a jeweler on my show before, so this is really a big treat. And so you and I don't know each other well, but you are a guy, when we meet you, you make an impact right away. I mean, you come in packing a punch, more high energy than me, I think, which is kind of...
I've only had one cup of coffee.
I love it. Well, today I want to find out a little bit about the jewelry business and what makes... kind of the state of the industry, but also, some of the stuff that makes your business unique. And then we have some other things in common that I definitely want to talk about. And your business is in Folsom, so I want to make sure we talk a little bit and maybe give a little shout out to the Folsom people that are also helping grow businesses. So with that said, maybe just give us a little of your background and how you got into this gig.
Well, so I just celebrated my 23rd year in the jewelry industry. It's funny, I'm selling engagement rings to folks now, and I ask them how old they are, and I'll say, I sold my first diamond when you were 5 years old, and they're just blown away. It's a Filipino genes, man. But yeah, I started my senior year of high school. I've always been I like jobs that aren't your typical high school kid job, like delivering pizza, or working for McDonald's. So I landed a job at this local jeweler in Davis that's been there for, they recently closed, but it was there for, at that time, about 30 years. Anyways, I spent about 15 years of my life there. And straight out of high school, I decided I want to be an apprentice to, it was the Luna Jewelers, Mr. Luna. Oh. And me and him just clicked. He understood my background, where I'm coming from. And he just showed me the way, him and his wife. They kind of almost adopted me. And at some point, you have to move out of mom and dad's house, right? You have to grow, spread your wings. I had a couple of years stint in a larger big box company, which was great because I got that formal training that a small mom and pop can't give you. But ultimately, my heart is, I'm a small town jeweler. I'm a small town guy. It's not. It was never about the numbers, the bottom line. It's about the relationship. I'm here for the long run, and sometimes a big box doesn't do that. It's about, let's do it now. Let's close the deal now. Open your credit. It was fun, but that's not who I was.
So when you first launched a business, so you'd been an employee for a long time. So was that a scary leap at that moment? Because obviously you're putting an investment in to start a business.
Yeah, my wife has her master's in business, so obviously I listened to her.
Yes.
And she's the one that said, I know you want to open your business now, but try another avenue and just see what it's like. So, but after I left the big box, I started working out of my house, and that was through social media connections that I've put together in 15 years. I was doing a lot of business just through text messaging, Facebook, and I told my wife, it's time. We need a brick and mortar. We need to be part of a community. And since we already live in Folsom, that was a good transition for us. If you were going to open up a jewelry business, it is quite daunting because ideally, you're thinking you need a lot of merchandise. You need to have all these connections. It's really based on trust. If you don't have the money, you need to know who you're dealing with, and they need to know who you are. Long story short, when I opened up my business, I only had about 15 grand in my pocket that my parents loaned me. I had credit cards, and I did try to get some investors. I think it was just by luck that it didn't work out, because now I don't have to worry about any partners. I did it all by myself. But my grand opening in February 8th of 2017, I had well over $1 million in my inventory.
Oh, that's great. Now, that's the grand opening of your brick and mortar store. Yep. But you started the business out of your house.
Yeah.
And just kind of making connections with people you know. I mean, what, in terms of like advice to other people who are thinking about starting, because we all know brick and mortar is a big expense to do brick and mortar, so you were buying jewelry from, maybe just tell us a little bit about the business. Where do you buy the jewelry, and then how do you,
it's funny you say, it's funny you say buying, right? So really with zero money, I was able to have that much in my inventory during grand opening. It's because early on in my career, I understood the value of connections and trust. There's a lot that goes into a handshake, especially in our industry. If you burn someone in the industry, the whole industry hears about it. The jewelry industry is a very small, big industry. It's typically, you got your big companies that's been there for a while, the big manufacturers that all know each other. And, you might have the big boxes, but really it's the small mom and pop that keeps this industry going. Mm-hmm. And everybody knew me. Right out of high school, I started going. My mentor started taking me to the Las Vegas Jewelers Convention. So as a kid, you're kind of like, "Whoa, this is amazing. This is impressive." But people knew me, so when it was time for me to open up my store, I was able to call a vendor that I've known for 20 years, say, "Hey, I'm opening up my store. Can you help me out?" And they'd send me $100,000 worth of goods with nothing, no contracts. It's all based on trust.
Is it kind of like a consignment type thing?
In our industry, we call that memo.
Okay.
So yes, in a way it is. So you get X amount of goods, and at the end of the month, you have to report what you sold. But they don't do that for anyone else. But it's because I've been in the industry for so long, and they knew who I am. They knew who I worked for. My mentor was able to vouch for me. And that's one thing, you always got to pay your bills. Because if you don't, that might be,
and that's good advice, I think, for anybody. My number one core value in life is commitment, and if we don't keep our commitments, it comes back around every time. Those are the people I want to be friends with. Those are the people that I want in my life. In fact, if you can't keep a commitment, I pretty much cut you out of my life. I don't know if you're that way.
No, I 100%. Yeah. I think your word is your bond. And that's kind of the same thing we do at our business. When we say we're going to take care of you, we mean that. If we say we stand by the product, we mean that. Here's the thing. You can buy jewelry anywhere, right? You can buy them at Costco, for crying out loud. Mm-hmm. But what's that? What do you get with that? So with the small mom and pop, we always try to put our service and what we can provide for you in the future. We're here for the long run. We're here to build this relationship. I'm not just here for the engagement. I want to be there for the anniversary. I'm going to be there for the birth of your first child. So
okay, walk us through the customer experience now. Now that you have the storefront, you've had that going a while. You walk in, and what does it feel like? What was the customer experience?
It's very homey. Okay. most jewelry stores, if you go to the mall or just a bigger store, you're automatically greeted by a lot of goods, a lot of merchandise. At my store, there's only 4 showcases, but I do have a table of we call them prototypes. It's out there in the open. You can walk up to this and pick it up and try on a ring. It's not real. They're base metal, but it disengages the customer feeling like, oh, I'm in a jewelry store. This is too fancy for me. All that is out the door. It's very casual. You're greeted with a friendly smile, friendly greeting, and it becomes very natural. We don't make it about the transaction. We make it about how are you, who are you, what are we here for, who are we shopping for, you know? So we are very quickly interested in your story. What brought you into us?
Okay, well, let me tell you my story a little bit. So I'm sitting here. I'm not a jewelry guy. So you're laughing at he's laughing at my ring. If you're watching,
we give
YouTube,
those away.
These are. I have a rubber. I had gone through a few rings because playing sports, I'd take it off,
Yep.
and I lost metal rings. I don't know if they were gold, whatever they were. Probably on the lower end price of a men's ring. I've been married almost 37 years. And my wife was getting a little frustrated because I kept losing my ring. Finally, I said, I'll never take off my ring again. Right. So I committed to doing that because I'd either leave it somewhere or what have you. But I go to CrossFit.
Yes.
And so you do stuff on the bar at CrossFit, and my hand would get torn up. So one day I texted my wife a picture of the ring cutting into my hand. My hand's all bloody, and I'm the only guy at CrossFit that's got this metal ring, and he's committed to his wife. He's not going to take off his ring. So we were at sporting. We were in a sporting. It was Dick's Sporting Goods,
Yes.
and then we were in the checkout line, and there was a bag of rings for like $20.
That is made by Kalo. It's a company out of Southern California.
Oh, God.
And I actually partner with those guys. If you go through my social media, you'll see I'm a big supporter of first responders. So when I first opened up my store, I said, I want Kalo. I want the thin blue and the thin red line rings. So when I come across a firefighter or a policeman, I want to offer it to them.
Oh, wow.
It's almost always the same issue. They can't wear their ring. So now they're able to do that. So we actually give it no charge. One of the things I started doing now, because I just love how that became very handy, having a multifunctional ring that's made out of silicone rubber. We just give it for free. If you buy a wedding band from us, we give it to you.
Oh, that's cool. That's good. Yeah, I was thinking maybe my son-in-law, because he's in law enforcement, that might be good for him.
Send him in.
Yeah. And then they have to spend some money. Okay, so the other thing about me as a customer, so I'm not a jewelry guy really, but every year I have a tradition of buying my granddaughter some jewelry for Christmas, but I have been going to Tiffany's at the mall and trying to find something. She's only 11 now, so finding something. So in terms of kids, you mentioned Girl Scouts coming in with their troops and buying stuff. Are there people that want to shop for jewelry for their kids?
Oh, all
and
the time.
then what would you what's different about a kid's jewelry other than it's maybe more affordable or maybe more dainty or small?
It definitely on the affordable side because they might lose it, but definitely on the daintier side. But because we're custom jewelers, what we've been doing, especially since the pandemic started, we've been doing a lot of repurposing. People bring me jewelry that they inherited from great grandma.
Oh, wow.
And they say, what else can I do with this? This design is not conducive to an 11-year-old. So we would make a suggestion of why don't we take that stone out and mount it on a simple pendant. Now you can give it to her for her 12th birthday. Oh, wow. So, but then again, there's that story. It's not just another piece of jewelry. This is from great grandma.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And as I make these suggestions, a lot of people don't think about this because they don't know that we can melt the metal, we can repurpose it for something else, or give them money for it, and but it just makes the customer experience, it makes that purchase more special.
Interesting. So, what kind of design would be good for like a little kid in terms of like if I'm getting something for my wife, I might get something that reminds her of the grandkids, or maybe something
a mother's ring,
or a cross, right? Because she's like a sign of the cross.
Birthstone pendant is very popular.
Oh, birthstone,
for young ladies, they love that. And at my store we do ear piercing as well. So just one of the services that we provide. So we sell a lot of earrings.
I can imagine.
From all price points. And that's the thing too, from when you walk in, some might feel that, oh my gosh, like this might be an expensive place, but we're really quick to disengage that thought that we're affordable, that we cater to everybody. When someone asks me, who is your demographic, who are your clients, I say it's the 12-year-old that has his first girlfriend that he's buying for, to the 75-year-old who's in his third marriage.
Oh my God.
It's everyone.
How old were you when you bought a girl a ring for the first time? Were you like a little kid?
I was in high school.
I was in 6th grade, and I was so nervous about it. We bought it at Woolworth. Bought the ring. Me and my buddy, we bought rings at Woolworth.
Oh my gosh.
Oh God. Okay, so thinking about that, the customer experience. I think there's probably got to be customers that look. I want something super high end. Big diamond. That wouldn't be me, by the way. But if there was somebody like that, where do you buy the diamonds? How do you get access to the big stones, or how does that happen?
Because of the fact that I've been in the industry for so long, I've made connections over the years.
Yeah. So
if one diamond cutter like in New York doesn't have it, I might call someone in Los Angeles. I might call someone in Chicago. I've made, and that's the thing, not everyone has the same stone, right? So it's always about, Mark, what are you looking for? Are we working on a specific budget? We work around that. We really cater to you.
Yeah,
it's
somebody says like, I want 2 carats, pretty clear.
Done. No problem.
It's like, you can just custom make it something simple.
I may not have it, and that's the thing. I may not have the inventory, but that also means I don't have to sell you anything.
Yeah.
Because if I have the inventory and I'm holding on to it for years, I already paid for it, I'm gonna get my money back. All that's out the door because I don't have that stress in me. I can easily call one of my diamond cutters and get it overnight. No one walks in and says, I need it now. I need it in an hour.
Right, you're always planning it.
And you know what? If someone is a shopper that way, there's other stores for that. That's what's great about it. I came into a market in Folsom, and let's just include El Dorado Hills as well. I was a 12th jeweler. That's combined with some mom and pop, some big box stores in the outlets or at the Palladio. And yet we were able to find our niche, our clientele. And I'm happy with that. I understand I can't get everybody. So I might not be able to deliver something in a couple of hours. But that's also not, I don't believe in that because the quality won't be as good.
Yeah.
So,
well, you decided to do your marketing a little bit differently too. You were talking about social media earlier, and a number of people really are out there, kind of promoting their product. You've got an Instagram following, but it's about you, the jeweler. So you're sort of you're the brand. You're like a celebrity brand.
I want to go that far yet, but I've never made it about the merchandise. I think in any business, I don't care if you're selling a car or furniture, it's about relationships, right? And I think naturally as humans, we want to deal with someone that we feel comfortable with. We want to deal with someone that we trust. And if I can convey that through social media, and if someone can say, you know what, I like what that guy's doing in the community. He supports children's causes. And if that can help bring in someone into our building, then I think I've done my job. And not a lot of people do that. But that's who I am. I've never been about the merchandise. I don't have a fancy car. That's not who I am. So I make it about what am I passionate about? That's community, and you can touch base on this later on. Tequila.
Okay, let's talk about both. Let's talk about community first. I know you're part of like the Folsom, the Folsom business community.
Yes.
You do Rotary, and
I do all that.
Is that helpful for the business, or is that just so you can give back? And
So I've been involved with Rotary International since I was in my 20s. I was part of the Rotaract Club, which is the 2030 version of Rotary. So it was just natural for me when I opened up my business. I wanted to immediately connect. I came into a community that nobody knows who I am because I grew up in Davis. So I wanted to make a connection right away. So I did that through the Rotary Club of Folsom, which is amazing. All those, that's family to me. And but you don't go there to a service organization thinking I'm here to hand out business cards. You're there
Yeah.
to make connections. You're there to earn their trust.
Yeah.
You're there to find an avenue, an outlet where you can give back. And that's what I like doing.
How many people are in Folsom Rotary?
There's about 70,
Oh
70
wow,
plus.
pretty good size.
In different age demographic. So I need to invite more folks to come to come join us.
In terms of the Folsom business community, though, how would you describe it?
Oh man, I've never seen anything like this. They really embrace their small businesses. They choose Folsom. I'm in debt to those guys because early on when I opened up my business, they were quick to reach out to me and say, "Hey, we have this opportunity. Do you want to do it?" There was an event called Folsom Live, and they said, "We don't have a VIP sponsor," and I think Adrian Blanco Jewelry VIP Lounge sounds good. I'm like, yeah, it sounds good. And I don't have advertising dollars. I'm still figuring out this business thing. They say, you should, what is it? Whatever percent you should be setting aside for marketing. I don't do any of that. The way my thinking was, well, I can either put a billboard out on 50 or I can sponsor an event or donate to a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of been my game.
Yeah.
And it's worked pretty well. I feel like I do it because I think it's the right thing to do, not with the mindset that, oh my God, I'm going to get something back from that. I don't know. I don't ask them how they hear about us. But the fact that I'm out there, I'm branding myself, people see me in the community, I think that translates to eventually us building that relationship and then them hopefully coming into my store.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got to talk about tequila too. So I guess I'm getting a little bit of a reputation as Margarita Mark. You brought me this gift.
Margarita Mark.
You brought me two gifts. You brought me this really cool El Tesoro bottle of. I'm not even going to open it up. I'll probably start drinking it. And then you also brought me some sparkling wine that's got your name on it. So how did you decide to get me the tequila? What was, did you know that somebody else gave me tequila like a month ago on the show? I didn't know if.
I actually, I wanted to, tequila is the other thing that I'm very passionate about. Not that I drink a lot. The product itself, I'm very in love with the idea that if you wanted this product, you have to wait so long. There's a lot of TLC involved in it to grow the agave before you can even get any business out of it. And one of my best friends, Joe Horgan, in the tequila world, he's known as Tequila Joe. Okay. When I was 25, introduced me to really fine tequila. And just as I understood the story and got to be around it more, I truly just appreciated all the hard work that goes into it, to the point that when you visit my store out in my lawn, I actually have 4 agave plants planted there. Hopefully in a few years I can harvest it for fun.
And back in your office, you have a tequila room.
Did you hear about this?
I did hear a rumor. I saw the picture of that too. It's like, oh man, wish we were doing the podcast there.
We should do that. The thing is, I've become a collector. I'm more of a collector more than anything. And I look for older bottles. I look for rare bottles that you can't just find at Safeway. So I work with, shout out to Folsom Wine and Spirit, my buddy PJ. He does provide a lot of unique bottles to me. And I have friends that have put together like almost 3,000 bottles and they just stare at it. And I'm like, what's the point of that? Like, here we are looking at this, and you guys have said how amazing it is. I collect bottles so I can open it and share with friends. Yeah. I mentioned how I give a lot back to the community, right? It's so easy to just give a diamond earring or a diamond pendant to donate, and it's donated by Adrian Blanco Jewelry. I partnered a few years ago. I partnered with my friend Rosario Rodriguez, our council member. She owns Sutter Street Taqueria. And she actually approached me, Adrian, what if we do a Taste of Mexico? You provide the tasting part, I'll provide the food. I said, that's amazing. So I've been doing that every year, and it's amazing. The first time we did it, we beat out Disneyland in a trip to Hawaii. Someone paid, I think about $3,000 for me to come to their house, talk about tequila.
Wow.
The basic knowledge that I have on it, and eat tacos.
The jeweler talking about tequila. We're actually doing I'm an investor in a company called Bennett's, and Brian Bennett is a really good friend of mine, and we're doing tequila tasting at his house because he's become kind of a tequila aficionado.
Well,
as
Mr. Bennett and I
so
need
you
to
have
meet.
competition, Brian.
We need to meet.
Yeah,
we need to meet.
Maybe there's collaboration there between you and Brian. He owns, he's been in the restaurateur for. He's really well known and respected around here. But
Yes.
Anyway, that's cool. I didn't really think about doing tequila tasting at somebody's house before, but my entrepreneurial buddies and I are going to go over there and do that from the Entrepreneurs Organization. I think like next month.
That's
anyway,
great.
Yeah.
And we do this. I do this for fun. So like the first year of my business, I wanted to just have another reason to gather folks. So me and some buddies established the Folsom Agave Club.
Wow.
And it started out with 4 guys, and I think on Facebook we have well over 200 members.
Wow.
And so what I did with that is basically link up with local bars. I've done some with Original Pete's right there in Folsom and Scarlett's, and they bring in a brand ambassador like Don Julio or Patron, and for a small fee we get to do some tastings.
That's awesome.
And it's a lot of fun, man. It's another way for me to put myself out there without necessarily preaching jewelry.
Yeah.
People get tired of that, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so what else do we want to make sure we... Well, first of all, I appreciate the gift. You also have
absolutely.
your little bottle of wine here that you gave me. Or
Yes.
Sparkling wine. My wife, I'll drink some, but my wife
It's-
loves it, and I love your logo.
Thank you so
You've got
much.
your custom logo
My
on the
baby
wine.
sister, years ago, before I even opened the store, I had this idea to do the AB with a diamond, and that's what she came up with. So my sister Marian in the Philippines, who's a graphics artist, created that for me. But the sparkling wine was cool. I'm so fortunate that I do a lot of business with other business owners. So this is Crystal Basin, and Mike Owens. I asked him right before Christmas, hey, how can we collaborate? And we came up with this, my
That's
own
awesome.
private label.
That's a great
that we
idea.
give to our clients.
I might have to steal that idea. Just kidding. So one of the things I was going to ask you about, I think I might have talked to you about this earlier. So you immigrated here from the Philippines when you were about 14.
Yep.
That transition, I'm kind of curious about that transition. And then also, there seems to me, I think there's kind of widely thought that immigrants end up being harder working than us Americans. So I want you to kind of talk about that, and do you believe that's true?
Well, I grew up growing up in the Philippines. I did attend a Jesuit school, so it's a private school, and I have classmates that are very wealthy. And by all means, that wasn't me. I didn't have my own car. I was taking public transportation. So it was very, definitely very humbling. I guess where I get this motivation is knowing where I came from and knowing the kind of life I want to have eventually. As a kid in high school here in the United States, it's all about let's go to college, get a good grades, get a good job. But by 15, I was like so antsy. I asked my mom, like, can I get a job now? Like, no, you got to get a permit and all that. Because I was very excited in buying a car. I just like having money in my pocket.
Yeah.
I didn't want to wait for that 20, I forgot what my mom used to give me, like $10 a week. Just wasn't enough. Like, I want to do things. So it was just important for me, as soon as I was able to get that work permit, get a job right away. So I don't know. I don't know if that has something to do with being an immigrant per se, but immigrants coming to a whole other country, it's survival of the fittest. It's making connections in your community and see who can hire you. There's so many of that. Luckily for me, because I was so young, I was actually able to embrace the system here in America, And
Well, when you got here, you went 14. You're going right into high school.
I was, I was going into ninth grade.
Going into ninth grade. So how was your English? Did you speak good English?
Well, Filipinos, I mean, English is their second language.
Yeah, so you already can speak English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a barrier for me. If anything, just culturally, when you're it's funny, when you're 14 in the Philippines, you're almost treated like you're an adult.
Okay.
We grew up fast there. So coming in here, I was like, wait, I'm a kid. I told my mom, like, wait, I can't drive. I know how to drive. I said, I can't drive. No, you're not allowed to have a license. what, do you need a license here? Like, I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
So my mom was like, yeah, you have to ride your bike. But my hair, I don't want to ruin my hair.
That's amazing. So Blanco, where's that name come from?
Spanish.
Yeah.
White.
Yeah.
It's funny with the tequila. Going back to the tequila, people say that's a Mexican thing. I'm just like, we're the Mexicans of Asia. When the Spaniards conquered the Philippines, they were conquering Mexico too.
Okay.
So there's a lot of, and you can look this up. You can Google this. How tequila is distilled, the process. They got that from Filipinos.
Did they?
So the story is there's a Spanish ship that was going back and forth from Philippines to Mexico, and there's a couple of deckhand, I don't know what the word is, Filipinos, and they're trying to figure out how can we make booze. And they said, well, we have this plant. Oh, cool. So they showed them how to do the distillation process. You can Google that. I'm not making that up. So that's a connection there. But the Philippines was conquered by Spaniards for 400 years.
Amazing.
And then America bought us for, I think, 20 million or something like that with Puerto Rico and Guam back in 1898. Spanish-American War. So I'm not a history buff. Hopefully you can fact check me.
Yeah, I'm not a history buff either. Okay, so what else do we need to know about you? Because you've used Instagram and this way of growing your business. I mean, I think we picked up some good nuggets. What else do we need to know?
Through social, I think this is the when the pandemic hit, it saddened me that seeing all these businesses that were closing. And it was the opposite for us. We actually thrive. Our numbers went up. We got so busy, I had to hire more people. We got so busy, I had to find a bigger location when most businesses are struggling. And yeah, it's survival of the fittest and all. But I think the story with our success is community. And to all the entrepreneurs out there that are starting out, embrace your community. I firmly believe this. If you take care of your community, the community will take care of you. At my grand opening, I didn't even do invitations, just put it on social media. I had well over 300 people there. It was amazing. You can see the photos on social media. But, and I said during my speech that this is not just a celebration for me. This is a celebration for Folsom. It's a true testament that if the community comes out and supports, this is what happens. So I hope other communities do the same. Keep a good eye on your small businesses because we're the ones that sponsor baseball teams. I mean, you mentioned Tiffany's, but I don't see Tiffany's. Well, I don't know what they do for philanthropy, but
yeah,
I'm just saying, you'll see my name everywhere. Twin Lakes Food Bank, the Rotary Club, Kiwanis, any schools that come to me. I've not, in my 5 years in business, I've not turned down a donation request from any school.
Wow.
So any children cause, we're 100% there.
I have I've been investing is kind of what I'm spending a lot of my time doing, and I'm investing relentlessly local. And I have a markism that is put your money where your town is.
Yes.
But that means spend local, invest local, just live. If you're living here, why not reinvest into our own company or community?
Make the tax dollars work for you. A good buddy of mine, Phil Scott, him and I were having a conversation. I recently got this award called the Folsom Champion Award. And I'm just reflecting back to that. It's funny with these awards. Every time I get them, and this is just the Adrian in me, I like to compete against myself. I don't care about anyone else. I don't care what other people do. It's me. It's in my head. I get an award. I'm like, okay, I got to work harder this year. I got to beat the guy from last year, whatever that means, right? But we got into a conversation that it's not about giving back. It's truly investing. You're investing in your community. So I appreciate you mentioning that because I never looked at it that way. But it's true. If you whatever money you put in, it makes the community, the business community, very healthy, and somehow it comes back full circles and comes back, and we all benefit from that.
Yeah, I'm doing something called the Growth Factory, where we basically are investing into local startups and then helping them. We run them through an accelerator. It's a startup boot camp to help get them more venture backable. They're all amazing. They're more the venture backable type startups, but it's like people don't know how to do that. You got a guy like me who's really committed to our community, and I'm buying stuff from Dick's and Tiffany's, right? I've already mentioned that. So it's a little awkward here.
But the tax dollars still come back here, though.
Yeah, it's
right?
still good. It's still good, but I do like supporting small business, but we forget about it sometimes. So sometimes we need to be reminded. So this is a good reminder for me to, think before I spend and make sure I've contemplated the idea of using a small business when I buy something, because that's really what I'm all about.
Well, we're touching the topic of small business, and you asked me about my cowboy boots when I first arrived here. Am I a Filipino cowboy? I guess I am now. But like I said, if I'm not in cowboy boots, I'm wearing Air Jordans, Jordan 3 specifically. I love Jordan 3s. But in 2018, I wanted to create content celebrating small business Saturday. Everyone's putting out information about what they're doing, what they're promoting. I said, I need something different. So I hired my cousin, who is amazing with videos, and you can see this on social media. And I talked about the importance of shopping local. But in this video, it's me walking down Sutter Street, going into different stores. But I actually end up at Hanley's. And the video that we shot was me trying on boots. And I took off my Air Jordans. I'm trying on these boots, and I had no idea cowboy boots are very comfortable. And it's so easy to put them on.
Western wear.
Hanley's Western Wear. Julie and Grace, they're the granddaughters of the original owners, the founders. And I shop there quite a bit, buying cowboy boots or shirts. And those guys give a lot to first responders as well. So I like to support them.
Well, I want to thank you, Adrian, for coming on the show. Thank you for the gifts, the wine, the tequila. We'll put that to good use. And really, thanks for what you do for the small business community. You're what small business is all about. So thank you.
You're welcome. And, I appreciate this opportunity. I mentioned to you, I've been a fan for years. I find myself going back to old episodes, depending on what I'm, if I have a need or I need some clarity. It's pretty cool to go back to your old episodes and look at, what did this person say? What did they talk about? So thanks for putting this on.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Back to the Mark Haney Show and the story of Adrian Blanco and Adrian Blanco Jewelry. For me, it was fascinating. We have this guy that migrated here from the Philippines as a young person, but really had to learn a lot here by this adjustment to growing up here in America, in Davis. And he gets himself into the jewelry business and earns the opportunity, borrows a little bit of cash, and maybe uses some credit cards, and he takes on the American dream, and now he is really succeeded. And it's these kind of stories that, I don't know, they're heartwarming in so many ways, and they're good for our towns. That's the interesting piece for me, is when an entrepreneur succeeds, what does that do for our town? Well, it means that he or she hires people and creates new opportunity and provides a service that most people wouldn't do. And I got to thank Adrian for calling me out on my own BS. I'm the guy that's always saying stuff like put your money where your town is and support local. And on the show, he caught me that I had bought some Christmas gifts for my granddaughter at a major national chain here in Roseville, but it's a major national chain. I'm buying some stuff from Tiffany's, and he sort of called me out on that. And I guess I think we should call, and I appreciate that. I want to call all of us out on that we do need to put our money where our town is, and we do need to, really find entrepreneurs that are doing something a little bit different and support them. And that might be a local coffee shop. It might be a local jeweler. It might be a local restaurant instead of going to the national chain. There's so many ways that you can do it, but you can also do that by the way you invest as well, because as you know, I'm invested into 50 plus startups in the Sacramento region. Not startups, some are medium-sized companies, but they're all local. We are relentlessly local here at HaneyBiz, and now that we've started the Growth Factory, that's a relentlessly local focus as well. And the Growth Factory is now invested into its 26th company already, and we've only been doing it since September. We're going to invest into another 75 or so over the next few years, but really putting our money where our town is, but simultaneously doing something different. We're rallying the leaders of Sacramento to support the most promising startups. So we're a startup boot camp, and we're an accompanying venture fund, which is unique in and of itself for Sacramento, but we're also doing something that's extremely unique, and we've rallied the leaders of Sacramento to be a part of the Growth Factory. And it's really a platform whereby if you care about entrepreneurship and you care about our region and you want to put your time, your talent, or your treasure where your town is, this is a platform where there's a handle on it, right? You can grab a hold of this platform and help do some of this heavy lifting. I mean, we all have been out there and seen somebody in the middle of an intersection and they're stranded, and what are you going to do? Are you going to jump out of your car and help push them out of the intersection over to safety? Or are you going to sit back and go, well, I'll wait for the auto mechanic to pull in there and do that? You don't have to be somebody who's been helping startups in your life to come out and help a startup. And if you want to get involved, you want to help, it's not always pushing a car out of the intersection. Sometimes it's over there just tinkering something to help them get their car started. Other times it's moral support. But if you want to provide some of your expertise, moral support, or just, push, a little elbow grease, come get involved in the Growth Factory. Again, we're a startup accelerator with an accompanying venture fund and the Backyard Advantage, which really it's an open platform. So if you want to get involved with us, of course, you can hit me up at the Mark Haney, or you can come to GFX. GFX is a big event that we're doing on August 25th at the grounds in Roseville. It's a big event center at the Roebling Center, and we're going to be bringing in the group, right, to roll up our sleeves, help startups. It's a place to go hands-on helping startups. We're also going to be having an educational component where we're going to bring on a unique series of speakers. But really, it's about connection. So it's about this tribe coming together, this tribe that is growing, coming together around entrepreneurship and venture capital in our region to try to throw our arms around the most promising startups and lift them up a little bit. So if you want to get involved with us at GFX on August 25th, of course, hit me up. I want you. We need you. It's great for our community, and it's great for these startups. Now, at the beginning of the show, I mentioned that startups, and Adrian Blanco in specifically, he attacked in a different way. He used a marketing approach that was really community focused, a way that maybe the big jewelry stores are unable to do. He found out a way to be differentiated and attack in a differentiated way, and it's been successful. It's he's got a tequila bar in his office. You don't see that. Now it's not open to the public, but he's doing things in a way, customizing jewelry and doing different kinds of things that you wouldn't normally find at a major jeweler. And so that's a unique approach. And it brought me back to my startup days, sort of my first entrepreneurial, besides the newspaper route, our video stores that we had. And I want to share a story that is how we attacked from a different direction. And I think in many ways, it had the light bulb went off for me through that process about thinking in a different way, because we had Blockbuster and Hollywood Video next to every one of our video stores, right? Our stores were we had 12 stores, and they were in the best locations around town. and corner spaces, but invariably that was the same place that the other video stores wanted to go to, the national chain. So how do you compete with Blockbuster and Hollywood and the national players? And the answer is you got to do it differently. And so yes, we had a community focused, and we had what I would consider better service. We had recruited a lot of people that I had went to high school with and other people to really help. So our service was well above what you would get at a national chain, but we also had previously created a unique advantage, and that was in that battle between beta and VHS. We chose beta, which is kind of an interesting thing, where some of you may remember that beta and VHS were two formats of videotapes that would play movies, and you put them in a VCR. And you could, it was the first, home entertainment beyond, kind of watching regular TV. And so it was really popular in the 80s. But so how could we attack differently? Well, what we did is my dad had a TV shop, right? So before video stores, my dad had a TV appliance shop, and we happened to sell VCRs. And so as we began opening up our video stores, we said to ourselves, what's the cheapest VCR that you can buy and play movies? And at that time, it was the beta VCR. They were cheaper. They were slightly smaller tape, a little bit higher quality than the VHS. But the VHS was popular. It was the one that around the country was extremely popular. Beta was a lot less popular, except in Sacramento. And the reason is because our TV shop sold a lot of beta machines, right? We sold a lot of beta VCRs because they were the cheapest one that you could buy for playing movies. Well, how is that attacking differently? Well, we sold the cheap one, so we basically sold the customer the VCR, and then they came to us for the movies. Well, I think one of the unique pieces of our strategy was, flood the market with these lower priced VCRs. We were selling thousands a month all around the Sacramento region of beta VCRs. And then we would go out and buy a bunch of beta movies so that our customers had plenty of movies to watch. And we had the biggest video stores in town when video stores first started coming out. And most of our business was in beta. Well, the national people came in and looked at national statistics and said, oh, VHS is the popular brand, so let's put all VHS movies in our stores, or at least predominantly VHS movies. Yet there were so many owners in Sacramento of beta VCRs. We had flooded the market, and so there were just tens of thousands of beta units here. Well, guess what? They had one place to go to get their movies that had any kind of selection whatsoever, and it was our video stores. And so in many ways, that turned out to be a blessing in disguise. But we created this advantage by selling VCRs. We had this unique strength in that we sold VCRs, but we were wise enough to attack from a different direction and flood the market with the beta VCRs instead of getting caught up in the national trends of like, oh, let's sell VHS because everybody else has to or needs it. Look, you need a VCR to watch movies on, right? Yeah. Okay, here's the best value. Boom, got it. Now you had a customer for life based upon the fact that they owned a beta machine. So no matter what business you're in, you can create your own advantage. The startups that we invest to have really technology and innovative solutions that differentiate them. But even a Main Street company like a jeweler, like a video store, like a construction company, you can find, if you're creative enough, you can look at your strengths and weaknesses and go, well, let me play to my strengths and how do I utilize what I can do that the national people can't or won't do, and then attack from that direction. So to anybody out there looking for a differentiation, you want to talk to me, you want to share stories. I do things here at HaneyBiz, Hanging with Haney. I want to meet entrepreneurs, or you can come out to GFX and meet other driven entrepreneurs. It's August 25th at the grounds. But to all you out there fighting the good fight for our freedom, our security, our way of life, and of course, entrepreneurship. And to the 13 stripes, into the 50 stars, into that one American dream, always worth fighting for, yours. We're never above you, never below you, always by your side.
Thanks for watching today's show. My goal for every episode is that you find a takeaway, something tangible you can use in your business today. And if you have a comment about a favorite takeaway, feel free to put it in the box below. And if you have a topic that you'd like me to bring up on the show, don't forget to let me know. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to learn more about entrepreneurship. Because at HaneyBiz, we are always by your side.